Hello, everyone. We're so happy to have you back. Welcome to our homes, and we hope you invite us into yours here as Academy Showcase is back. I'm Riving the Biz in the Third, and this week I am joined by Joshua Joshi Howard. Josh, how's it going, man?
It's going great. We got a lot of good Academy action coming up, and with everything boiling down to the last week before playoffs, I can't wait to see what these guys have to bring.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. We are continuing, obviously, the online broadcast as everybody is hanging out at home. We're keeping things safe, and we're keeping the competitive integrity online as well. Standings are still super tight here as we're moving forward, even in the final stretch of the split, and there's a tie for second, a tie for fourth, and 4 teams contesting for that final playoff spot, Joshi.
Yeah, I mean, this is always what it comes down to in Academy. At the end, you got this 4-way tie, 6-way tie, everybody just hanging on in their team. Yeah. But currently holding on to the 6th spot, and they need to win at least one game if they want to make sure that they can cement their spot going into playoffs.
We see Logic Gaming in the bottom. The boys in blue kind of sitting in the dark now, as they are not able to make the playoff run. But they can start, as we said before, yanking that ladder up from everybody else that's trying to claw their way to the top of the standings right now, and we'll have to see what they can do this week. So let's take a look at today's schedule to see what we have on the docket. It is going to be starting Logic Gaming, as we were just mentioning, versus Golden Guardians. So bottom of the standings fight, back and forth. Golden Guardians really needs this win. Then we'll see Dignitas versus Immortals. FlyQuest take on Team Liquid in the middle of the standings. TSM versus 100 Thieves right after that, and rounding out the day, Joshi, with that Cloud9 versus EG atop of the standings bout.
Yeah, what more can you really ask for to end the day? You got your number 1, your number 2, trying to cement that playoff spot, and not just a playoff spot, they've already secured it. They're looking to get that bye, so they're a little bit more secure going in. But again, so many big teams, so many exciting things. FlyQuest versus Team Liquid is going to be a lot of fun. 100 Thieves and TSM, the winner guarantees their spot. And again, CLG coming off of a big win just last week, really have an opportunity to start upsetting some teams.
Absolutely. That one kind of took everybody by surprise, and I can't wait to see if we get more of that here in Week 9. We saw a lot of first unique picks. Obviously, these players play the Ezreals, the whatever they were taking for the first time in the spring split, but I'd love to see more of that here. So let's jump into our first game. It's going to be Logic Gaming versus the Golden Guardians. And GG kind of must 2-0 this week if you're looking at their score. You're looking how that playoff bracket works. Academy is still the top 6, first 2 buys. It doesn't work like the LCS just yet. So for a shot at the playoffs, it still depends as well on TL losing out.
Yeah, exactly. Golden Guardians, they are currently 2 games behind Team Liquid in that 6th place spot, meaning they both have to win 2 games in a row, and Team Liquid has to drop at least one of them. So Golden Guardians, let's keep it as much in their court as possible. Got to pick up this win as we head into pick and ban phase, and Yuumi and Aphelios already taken off the table.
Absolutely, and I know you were kind of looking at Tuesday. Deus has been on form, but Tuesday's been stepping up.
Exactly. We have to look back at where they're picking up their wins. Deus, a lot of people look at this guy as a great player on the team, and he is. He is solid. He's going up against a lot of these former LCS top laners, and he looks good doing it. But he doesn't tend to have these big pop-off performances that actually cement them wins. Tuesday on things like the Zoe and the Syndra is the one that will pop off, and actually in all of the games that CLG has won, he hasn't died a single time. So if you look for another deathless game from Tuesday, they can upset the Golden Guardians.
Yeah, absolutely. It is kind of amazing how that coincides. Him not dying, them winning. He does have those pop-off games. Looking at the first 3 bans, bot lane focus.
Wow.
From Golden Guardians. Wind coming back in, and they say we're going to knock the wind right out of their sails immediately.
He's already showing off something that we love to see, the Draven Hovered. I'm not convinced it's going to get picked up with so many other power picks still on the table. Misfortune, so powerful, so ubiquitous. I'm kind of expecting them to just lock that in, show nothing, and have plenty of options available.
Talia last week, and a Misfortune, the 003, so kind of support MF. Maybe he'll go for attack MF this time around. They are going to lock it in, as you expected. And we have Set and Varus, 2 easy lock-ins, and wow, actually they did lock it in. That was fast.
Yeah, not real surprises here. All of these are big power picks. I'm expecting something like an Aatrox or an Ornn to come out here for Deus, just something that he has a lot of play with. And again, there's still lots of power picks to go around. You got some junglers like Gragas, Lee Sin that people can look to pick up. So Logic Gaming, they're going completely different. They're going to be going for Sejuani, give them a lot of early engage tools as we go into this game.
All right. He definitely has the Sejuani games coming in from the last few, and last week we were definitely looking for Fragas to step up as well. He was a pivotal player that we expected to kind of see more throughout the season, and versus Dignitas 109 on that Sej. They had the follow-up Cloud9 game. I mean, you're going against two of the harder teams in the week, so a win and a loss in that one still isn't that bad. They go back to that Sej, the Aurelia for Tuesday.
I'm a bit surprised about the Aurelia. No, yeah, it might be going over to Deus as well. It sounds good as a matchup and to set in my head, but I actually just haven't seen this character all that often at this point. You dash around, if you can just dodge out on that big Haymaker W, you're going to have lots of big opportunities to get this big up plays, and now that Zion Spartan's low, maybe you can go in for a finish. But the Olaf going to get picked up here for hard. Not a big surprise, another big power pick, but Golden Guardians already looking to have a lot of top lane power, and this is kind of where I think we're kind of looking to see if Zion Spartan can recover from the last couple of weeks where he hasn't been performing to the level that we've been coming to expect.
Right, and, you know, they kind of need to get him going. He's been a big voice on the team, so like you were saying, I expect to see that as well. We have a few bands coming out here in Syndra and that Azir. That Syndra, I believe, was one of the plays that was his Deathless. Yeah, 4-0 against Evil Geniuses. So they're like, we don't want to see that. Tuesday, he went Deathless. That's the win. We'll get that out.
Yeah, the question for me is, do they want to ban away the Zoe or the Orianna here up against Tuesday? Simply because those are the ones that he has won on. They're both solid blind picks, and they both have decent matchup spreads. And it's going to be the Zoe, so I'm expecting Tuesday to fall back on the Orianna. He's got solid ball delivery systems already set up, and when you layer that with a bullet time, you're going to be able to delete a team pretty quickly. But Blaze Olive, still a very threatening player of his own, 32% of this team's damage across the entire split, and I'm expecting nothing different to come out, but it just depends. What is he going to do it on?
I don't know. He did have that one Stellar Orianna game. It was a loss versus Immortals in week 2, but I remember it well as he stole objective after objective and nailed the fights that almost kept his team in the game. Morgana's going to be the ban. Seeing that in the bot lane a little bit more. I know, what was it? Cloud9 had picked it, and then it was just on accident. Now we see her creeping in a little bit more as teams enjoy that shield and just the catch potential as Karma gets locked in on the side of Golden Guardians.
Yeah, interesting. Now, this isn't a character we've been seeing as much just in general. You have opportunities to flex it into the mid lane, throw it down into the bot lane as a support to go with hard. This Vladimir would be a little bit surprising to me. It's not something that they've had a whole lot of success with historically, but if Tuesday or Deus feel confident on him, maybe this is a big counter pick to Zion Spartan on the set. You just use that W, you avoid the showstopper entirely, and the Zyra, wow, they're just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, but I love it already.
Heals on heals? How many heals do you like? We'll see if they lock these in. I actually really like the damage you can put over the fight if you get Hemoplague down on a bunch of people, and then you can follow up with a lot of damage. And yeah, the Vladimir gets locked in, so we're probably seeing that Aurelia go towards top side. It was suspected in the bans by Golden Guardians as you saw Syndra and Zoe come out as well, but that comp wants to go forward, and they're going to do so at level 6.
Yeah, we're going to see what Golden Guardians want to do. Is this going to be the Braum locked in for Keith? A Blaze Olive going over onto the Karma. Again, I've kind of looked to a Blaze Olive as one of the big damage carriers, and so putting him onto Karma, it gives him a much more supportive role. You got these big shields, big movement speed buff that you can give out, but the damage not necessarily as there unless you really go into AP and you're all about the empowered Qs, getting that inner flame across a bunch of members, and something like Irelia, which does bonus damage to shields, going to be a little bit hesitant to see exactly how he does, but Blaze Olive's a good player. I'm sure he's mapped this he's matched this matchup out entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, a lot of people to speed up. We'll see if they can basically swing everything around in their favor, and what is going to be fights they probably need to shield, run away from, and then take it, right? Absorb a bit of what Counterlogic Gaming has to offer with the Leona ultimate, the Sejuani ultimate, and then being able to get out of the fights. We'll see how they can do with the Champion Select complete. We are going to take a quick 5-minute break again to reserve competitive integrity and keep sure that the games are played at the top of that. So stick with us. We will be right back, and we'll be casting the games as you see it. We are back, and with competitive integrity preserved, we are about to hop into game for Counter Logic Gaming versus Golden Guardians, the 3-13 CLG versus the 6-10 GG, and we'll see who does get that GG first on the Nexus. Myself, Rivington, and Joshi, ready to bring you this game as it goes live.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of digging in the break, looking at where Carmen has been played previously. And at least in Academy, it's only been played once. It was by Insanity up against Immortals, and unfortunately, it didn't do that great 0-3-2, but a bit more of a supportive style build. Luden's into Athene's Unholy Grail. Not a big surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something fairly similar coming out here for Tuesday. Excuse me, a Blaze Olive, rather. So we'll see what it does. It didn't do great previously. It hasn't seen a whole lot of play or a whole lot of bans this split in general, so I'm expecting him to surprise me. But the big thing I also want to look at is Golden Guardians. Ever since Keith has come in, they have been on a little bit of a downswing, whereas Counter Logic, with no pressure left on them, can kind of have a lot of fun. And as they run onto the Rift, I can't wait to see which one is going to take over.
I'm excited. We are on to the Rift for our first game here of Academy Showcase. It's week 9, though. Joshi, that's ridiculous. We're going so fast through the split already, and we're going to be able to play it out, which is even more amazing, and I'm glad you're all here to join us. It's going to be Mountain Drake to start first. May not attract too much attention, so we may get a swap for Rift Herald to start this one off, and just kind of looking at how they've set up those runes and, I was going to say masteries, almost taking myself back.
Yeah, all gone.
Conquerors and some safety in there.
Yeah, interesting enough, Zion Spartan going with the fleet footwork this game.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast, and especially with the rise of the Blade or the Rune King on this champion, a lot of extra mobility, a lot of extra lifesteal, so the sustained fights against Deus might go a little bit better. But we did see Golden Guardians, as they walked into the blue side of the map, getting that ward down. It is matched by Wind, who just walks on over because there's nobody left there. But is this a late invade coming in from Golden Guardians? They are walking over a ward, and I don't think they know that.
Tuesday backing off, so at least they've been seen as well a little bit more. Their intentions are known, and everybody can start walking and milling about and figuring out where they actually want to go. So Zion here going to be a little bit of a harasser. He's actually going to go hard on this. They know Fracas definitely doesn't want to slow down his jungle. That's why. So they could have easily chased Zion for days on that, but he's got fleet, so he's actually got a bit of movement speed there.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get himself out. Now, importantly, we saw that hard. He did start with the sweeping lens. He tried to clear out a ward, and it looks like he did get the 1 vision score by knocking that down. But there is still a ward in the area, so CLG will know what his early path looks like probably after he leaves this side of the map. And Froggus not going to get slowed down all that much. So ultimately, Golden Guardians invested a lot of early health and resource in order to get this advantage, and they need to lock it down.
Hard should make it through the jungle pretty quick. He's headed over down to the bot side. So Red stolen away from CLG's Froggus right now. He'll be clearing top completely. And you might just expect this as he's hanging out towards that top side. It's almost going to be 2.5 minutes now. So if he does head towards bottom, it may be slow. Zion Spartan seems to be keeping that lane in a pretty good spot. But Golden Guardians is keeping a bit of pressure on, which I think is obviously helping. So nobody can head back into the jungle and stop hard from what he was just doing.
Yeah, Big Haymaker is going to get Zion Spartan a bit of poke, and you see that he's trying to push this rather aggressively.
Yeah.
Something that Vladimir has always had trouble with is CSing underneath the turret early on in the game. His auto attacks don't do a lot of damage, but a Blaze Olive going to be dodging away and just getting a little bit of damage back onto Tuesday. Froggus, he doesn't have a whole lot left to farm, so he's just looking for these ganks. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs down to the bottom relatively soon, let Phil get level 3, and then there might be a party. A palooza, if you will.
A palooza indeed. You just saw the Scryer's Bloom hit towards bot side, making sure Hard isn't hanging around to try and steal his Krugs as well. But is this actually going to be the bot side scuttle taken? Hard may be able to make it to top, and it just seems like Froggus is getting a bit bamboozled here. He's tried for the gank already, and Sejuani doesn't exactly need everything here in the early game, but if Hard gets going, you're going to wish you had everything on the side of Froggus.
Yeah, I mean, Hard still has that entire top side of the map.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Deus has had a bit of a tougher time, right? He doesn't know that Hard isn't on the top side of the map. They haven't seen... Oh, well, he knows now. He just walks through the mid lane. But Deus knows, like, oh, I could have played this a little bit more aggressively. I'm not going to have as many opportunities at this point. Yeah. But on the other side of the map, just as you see their jungler moving to the top half, Gorka and Keith have to back away. They recognize they're now weak side, and it's going to be a very different experience. But they're doing well. Up 6 CS after this wave, and look at that. Phil and Wind looking to back away a little bit early, hopefully getting an extra Doran's Blade so they have a little bit more power as they return.
The MF Doran's coupons. You always come ready. It's like a big book. You just keep getting Doran's and Doran's, right? And a Fairy Charm in there. So expecting to maybe drop a few more Make It Rains, which really kind of depletes the mana bar for an MF. Phil's going to stay for some minions to try and keep him just off the turret. Nicely done there. A good guy support. Always feels good.
Yeah, it kind of feels bad, like, as somebody who plays support, Keith is like, no, stop. I want to get you away from these minions, but Phil standing his ground, knowing that Gorka wants to back away and go ahead and get the Vampiric Scepter of his own. Not as worried about the damage coming in, and so good freeze coming out. They're going to recoup a lot of the experience and gold that they were missing out, but now is where the test really comes through. They're sitting on the extra Doran's Blade. They have the Fairy Charm. They need to start getting some of this CS back, or Gorka and Keith are going to be running into this mid game with a much larger lead than we're used to seeing from him.
Yeah, Hard's going to have his choice of where to go, too. Coming up with Conqueror later, he's going to start doing some big damage. Blaze Olive on to Tuesday after he misses out on that flawless duet. And it's a good trade of damage. It's just never a, I'm a Blaze Olive and I'm going to kill Tuesday situation. So it almost, you know, it's not bad from a Blaze Olive's point. It's just I always hate those matchups. I want to be able to take somebody down, right? Remember the days when mid laners would play against Nidalee and they're like, I hate it. All they do is play so safe. They just play so safe. Oh, is it not safe enough, though, with 3 coming mid? A Flash is able to get a Blaze Olive out, and the Olive was almost a Blaze there.
It was. I mean, this is what I was kind of talking to you about in the break, right, Riv? We're looking at these 2 big lanes, Zion Spartan against Deus and Tuesday against a Blaze Olive. You're looking at which one can build the bigger lead, but right now, both Tuesday in the aggressive lane and Zion Spartan in the aggressive lane don't have big leads, and Tuesday getting aggressed upon himself.
There's that follow-up just a little bit more. If he had the Ignite, he'd be in there for the full fight, right? 6.5 here on the bot side. And it looks like they've picked up the CS, only a difference of 4 now, but you can see how much Gorka has to clean up, and that tells you Golden Guardians is sitting pretty good, just a wave and a few minions ahead down there. Almost getting up to level 7, 8, 9 is really where you want to see that Vladimir, and then he can start farming pretty fast with his Qs. So Zion Spartan should still have a bit of control in that lane, as it's really just a skill matchup now. If you miss something, you might take some damage, but they heal a lot on both sides.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised there that the Golden Guardians was willing to go take down the Dragon while their bottom lane was pushed in, right? You see that the prio coming out from Wind and Phil was there. They could have moved first, but they just didn't have the vision necessary to actually move up and try and contest in. It is a Mountain Dragon early on in the game, not the most impactful thing overall, but it does spawn the very exciting and always loved Infernal Dragon. So I'm expecting, you know, when that spawns in 4.5 minutes, you got the big ultimates, you got the Glacial Prison, you got the Bullet Time, you got the Hemo Plague. Expect CLG to much more proactively look to establish vision and actually go for that fight, but Zion Spartan with another step.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Just missing the Haymaker, True Damage Highway. Great job for Deus to get out of that alive, and now quick Zenith Blade's gonna miss. They still go for the ultimate though. Nicely hit by Unbreakable as the back and forth bot lane has fizzled out. Tuesday dodging the undertows. There's just so many fights on all fronts here as we go back and forth. And now Keith, Orica may call for a little bit of help. That 6 was hit early by CLG as they were able to stay in lane for a bit more of those waves. You see more CS or the side.
Yeah.
GG.
Wait, look at a Blaze Olive and Hard.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. They were looking down. They were thinking about it. But they decide it's not going to be worth their time. They don't have the ultimates ready, and instead, going back, Flashless Tuesday.
He keeps getting hit by these resolves. Is it going to be enough this time? He tries to go into a Blaze Olive, and he is able to get that Vanguard ult down. Helping himself out just a little bit, keeping the fight going, getting that healing down. It's going to be better for Hard as he's on the Olaf, and it's not long enough for Fraggus to make his way to the fight. And they finally get some attacks onto that mid lane, but both mid laners go down. You see how much they both wanted that.
They really did. A Blaze Olive, he is on the Karma. You said he's not going to be able to look for these, but he's going to find a way to do it anyway. But the big thing is we're asking, can Tuesday build a big enough lead in this part of the game? He's going for the Blade of the Ruined King, so his Trinity 4 Tower Spike is going to be a lot later than you would previously expect. Whereas Zion Spartan, he doesn't have a lead.
Oh, gets him in. Just a bit of hit on that Haymaker. And Deus is going to probably be able to heal this up as he just goes and finds himself Scuttle or at least some Honey Fruit in the river. Rift Herald taken over by CLG. Nice control of the map so far as they could be getting the first big plates. And may take it mid here for a big engage and try and open up the map right away.
Yeah, again, we're looking at these big power spikes. Here they go.
Oh, my word. They're going to be able to take down a Blaze Olive. He just came back up. Teleport now coming into the mid lane. This is going to be Zion Spartan. Keith goes down. A double kill for Tuesday as he starts delivering his own medicine over to the side of Golden Guardians. He finally goes down. The retribution kill for Hard. And they may be on the tail of Fraggus here. A few hits. Zion with the face breaker, and he can't get it to connect. It's on cooldown. Deus with a nice push top lane during this entire brawl.
Yeah, this is the big time, and you see just how difficult it is to take down both a Set and an Olaf. There's a lot of sustain, a lot of shields going on, and Irelia, even with the damage, she was dashing between everyone back and forth, but how do you deal with that much lifesteal? You just don't. And now Zion Spartan looking to bring, he still has his ultimate.
Throws Hemo Plague down, still goes for the Sanguine Pool. Oh, beautiful timing on the face breaker. Haymaker, not enough. He's not going to be in range to get the ultimate down either, unless he wants to go real deep under the turret. So 3-2, 10 minutes in here. The fights and kills have been answered really by both teams. And we did not see Rift Herald actually used there. Still has quite a bit of cooldown left.
It does. And so now the question becomes, Riv, can CLG take their team fighting prowess that they've drafted super hard for in the next couple of minutes? Can they start picking up these neutral objectives? Can they pick up the Infernal Dragon? Can they get this Rift Herald to crash for more than just a couple of plates? Are they going to have the mental fortitude to actually push this advantage? They're down 300 gold, but that's completely irrelevant. All that you're looking at right now is how much power they can actually bring with the champions that they have. And Deus doesn't have teleport for this upcoming dragon, so if he wants to participate, he's going to have to walk all the way down. But you see right now, he's not even trying to push the wave out, give himself the priority to play with. So I'm a little bit worried that CLG might be playing this a little bit too slowly.
Maybe afraid to be aggressed on. They don't have too many forward wards. One of those pinks is used in the Herald pit for the objective they got. And maybe they feel okay with this time to hit a Blaze Olive over and over again. We see pressure towards the mid lane from Phil, but you're right. What do you do now if that plan doesn't work because you were playing slowly? Now Zion Spartan gets to clear a huge wave at his turret. Maybe under a bit of pressure here as we do have Deus to that level 9. He can start spamming his Q with Transfusion a little bit more to start harassing out, so we'll see how that plays. But now, you said, 10 seconds for Infernal. That also means we have Cloud or Ocean, and Ocean would be big for either of these teams, and I think it'll make the game much more bloody to go for that.
Yeah, and looks like CLG is going to be looking to trade early on. They send Frog's top lane with the Rift Herald to try and push down Zion Spartan's turret, but they are going to be trading it for this Infernal Dragon, which is a little bit interesting, right? I keep talking about how this is the team that is looking to get these mid-game fights, and they're choosing not to go for the fights. They used the Glacial Prison earlier from Froggus, and they get a little bit of gold, and now they technically have a gold lead, but they're trading it for 2 impactful dragons, and that just puts them 4 dragons away from potentially getting this Ocean Soul, and GG only needs 2.
That's, yeah. I'm excited we actually see that. I love Ocean Souls. It usually means people fight a lot more, and that's what we're here for. So we'll see what happens there. That damage, a little bit more from Mountain going over the side of Golden Guardians. And now they just kind of taunt for red. They want to see if CLG will make a bit of a mistake here, easily getting themselves out. And looking for items around the map and who's been able to finish what. We've got the Seeker's Arm Guard for Blaze Olives. He was trying to stay safe in that mid lane, but I don't think Counter Logic Gaming was allowing for that too much. With Blade of the Rune King finished on Tuesday, as we see quite a fight topside, and that is off the top ropes. The showstopper from Zion Spartan is also the Deus stopper.
Yeah, waiting for the W to actually be used. Zion Spartan's like, all right, well, I don't have time. I'm right on top of you. There's no time for you to press W right after I start this show, and instantly takes him down. Deus still has his flash. Deus still has his W. That's big. This is finally Zion Spartan coming alive, and now going to be contesting with that 3-2-0 Irelia, who does have the Blade of the Rune King, but might have bit off more than they can chew.
Oh, he didn't get as many charges on that as he thought he could use from the Flawless Duet. Just a minion, and then he wanted out with a flash. But yeah, I think looking at that top lane play by Zion Spartan, Vladimir dying to Set's ultimate might be my favorite, because he just dissipates into the ground, and it looks like you completely evaporated the person. That's perfect. I want to see that again.
Get that big squish. All right, but Zion Spartan going to be able to get the entire turret. So now they have 1,000 gold lead. They are up 2 dragons, and they do have a team that scales really, really well with this Gorka, this University of Western Ontario star now coming in, having his opportunity to really show his stuff. And so far, I mean, he's up 12 CS. I mean, they're doing a good job. He has an item completion. So he just needs to wait, let that Athene's Unholy Grail ablaze all, really just keep him safe, and he's going to have plenty of opportunity to show how impactful he can be later on. But the game kind of stalling out a little bit. Golden Guardians, definitely happy with that as the game goes on. Deus The Rock in the top lane is going to have to start putting his carry pants on and start looking for Gorica through the Karma Shield, and that's always going to be a tough zone.
Absolutely, yeah. Gorica is, Deus getting himself into trouble here on the top side. Froggus just on the edge says, can you help me? As I throw Hemoplague down. They actually don't want that. No, sir. But yeah, speaking of Gorica a little bit, as you just brought him up, first Varus coming in for the spring split here. Obviously feels comfortable on at 138, 2 wins 126 on MF. But we'll have to see what he can do. Even having good scores in their loss versus Liquid in Week 8, he was 4-1-3. So he's definitely putting himself in good spots. Knows what he has to do when the team is in a tight situation here. It's a pretty even one, so we'll see if he can perform.
Yeah, I think it was interesting and very telling that Golden Guardian spent so many of their bans targeted at Wind and trying to force him.
You're right, first 3.
Oh, but now Golden Guardians are going to be the one who are trying to get this started.
Focus Resolve onto Froggus. We see the Glacial Fisher go back. There goes Phil into the fight. Is he going to be able to keep himself alive? Stopwatch is going down everywhere. Someone has the time. Who's got it? There comes the double up. Keith, just one more shot, and he's going to find it as Wind blows right over Keith on that one. Looks like health is kind of favoring CLG here as they're pushing Golden Guardians out, but Golden Guardians have refresh cooldowns. The full Karma Mantra Shield as they head back into the fight, and a great flawless duet lockdown on 2 members of Golden Guardians coming in from Tuesday.
Yeah, and we see that CLG was the one to kill the Rift Herald, but they weren't able to pick up the Eye. Golden Guardians should be able to call that win since the objective is not going over, and you see that is disappearing. It doesn't last nearly as long as Wind, even with all the speed in the world.
Just about over half, actually.
Yeah, there they go. And so now CLG, they get the fight that they wanted, but Wind a little bit too far back, not able to get bullet time down on as many members as he wanted. They should have an opportunity to go for round 2 here in about 40 seconds. They want to make sure Golden Guardians doesn't pick up this Ocean Dragon, because then they have all the tools they need to keep on scaling. So Wind, you have another chance. Starting in 30 seconds, let's see how CLG is able to set up for it.
Yep. Is he coming back out? All right, so he's already out, bottom side of the map. Essence Reaver there. His stopwatch is now on another stopwatch in the mid lane. Tuesday, and I think we got a lot of broken ones on the side of GG. So, we'll have to see if this fight also can upgrade Wind a bit more off of those Dorans, if he's holding on to a bit more money. As we said, he's feeling pretty good. He gets the push solo down towards the bot side. He keeps himself pretty safe. I like the taunts. Everybody's trying to give each other what for. Okay, Wind, not that so much, but he's still in there. He does have to be careful, though. He does not have kind of safety side to his team in mid lane, and now he knows it.
Yeah, he does have the flash available. Zion Spartan down there. The bonus movement speed from the teleport is big. Frog is starting a fight.
Tank on tank action to start this one, and Froggus is going to wish he did not do that to the Braum. Over the wall goes Phil as he is out of the fight with a flash and solar flare, and Golden Guardians instantly push Counter Logic Gaming out of any chance for the first Ocean Drake.
I liked the spirit, but I didn't like the execution. We were just talking about how Wind was separated from the team. He was down bot lane. He was running as fast as his Little Misfortune Lakes could carry him. But they still got a long way to go. He wasn't even there. If we had the damage stats, I would have to imagine he did 0 damage unless he threw a Make It Rain over the wall somewhere.
He could. He has a Fairy Charm. Probably had the mana.
He does. I'm sure he did. And now Zion Spartan, uncontested, is going to be taking half this turret down, while CLG picks up absolutely nothing. Pew.
A little stop there. Damage pushed through as he obviously has the shield to come up as his grit falls away. But he'll be safe. He'll heal up. And might even go back for a fight. Executioner's calling on top of the Blade of the Rune King. Keeps him healthy. Keeps him, keeps Deus' healing from coming up too hard.
Yeah, it is tough though, right? Zion Spartan doesn't yet have the Phage, no Rage passive to stay on top of Deus with the Phase Rage. So he's going to stay healthy for a long time and hard. Ooh, he actually gets stunned.
I like it.
Oh, he's fine. He's going to be able to walk on out. Tuesday and Frog is not willing to hard commit into the fog of war without knowing where everybody else in Golden Guardians are. So again, just slowing down a little bit, but CLG is still the one that I want to see be a little bit more aggressive.
Oh my word, he's doing it again! Oh, he hit the timing! He did it with a face breaker in top lane and a haymaker now in bot lane to make it count. Zion Spartan might have also played Vlad in his career.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well known for the champion. Tuesday trying to do his own incarnation, jumping onto a Blaze Olive, and a Blaze Olive not going to have a whole lot of opportunities to do anything here. And there we go, Bullet Time trying to slow down the aggression in the mid lane. Is super split maps coming on. CLG going to be the one to back away first, and Zion Spartan calls them out, says, hey, we're going to win this game of chicken. We're going to get more power down on the bottom side of the map, because Deus
seems
can't
like
stop me at all.
it's whoever pretty much goes face to face in the fight first has been able to take it here. 6-5 as the kills are mounting, but it's not really that much. We see CLG getting kills, and they're not able to attack turrets like Golden Guardians is. Things aren't in place as much, and I think Golden Guardians knows it, which is why they're starting to attempt so many of these fights. It's only 1.5k in the lead of Golden Guardians, but having, I should say, 3 turrets down. They're not even outer 3, as we see a second tier, and the bot side down definitely changes up the way the map flows for CLG.
And CLG, I mean, they're still looking for their big team fight. They will always have that win condition in their back pocket, of just wombo comboing the entire other team, but they've tried once, they've tried twice, and both of them has misfired. They're going to have to look again and again, because it's going to be a long time. Deus will not be able to split against Zion Spartan for at least 10-20 minutes, and even then it gets a little bit iffy. Blaze Olive on the other side of the map, though, I mean, Tuesday can split against him, Deus can split against him, but both of these champions are looking to fight and kill the backline. They're looking to kill Gorka. They're not as worried about taking out the support system first. And we can see there's plenty of wave clear. I mean, it's kind of ambient wave clear from the piercing arrow and the axes, but it does the job.
Not really giving them too much room to work with in mid. Or I should say more room for both teams. This is a lot to move around in there as Golden Guardians once again try to take control over those Vision Wars. Now have even more Fog of War to work with and just tack on this pressure to counter Logic Gaming, suffocating them out of each position they take a second to find. Another ward here towards the bot side cleared out, and Vision heading down there with 1 minute for the next Ocean. This is Soul already. Instantaneous Drakes coming from GG this game.
Yeah, and this is tough. I mean, Counter Logic Gaming in their wins have had a whole lot of control over the Dragons, but they don't have a whole lot of control now. They are currently 0-3. Fruggus might be able to pick this up, but nah, he's down 2 levels, not going to have a smite worth talking about.
Yeah.
You can see Deus, he doesn't know where Zion Spartan is. He is forced to sit so far back that Zion Spartan is going to be able to push this out if they want to start up the Ocean Dragon and have a huge wave of priority. But instead, looks like he's going to be getting a back in, or he's thinking about it. He might have an item completion ready to go, and with 30 seconds left before the Dragon, now's the time to do it. Now is the time when you want to hit those power spikes. Gorka close to the Ginsu's Rage Blade. I believe an Ardent Sensor in the works for a Blaze Olive building out of that Forbidden Idol. So if you have item completions, now is the time to do it, because this might be CLG's make or break fight.
I'm one of the few, but I miss Ardent Sensor. I like that.
Yeah,
I guess the meta wasn't as fun because it was like whoever gets it first gets to basically break lane. But like rushing for it as a support was fun. You're like, I got mine first. Let's do this. Probably not for the rest of the map because they just knew it was going to happen. Okay, we're going to get this fight for Drake coming in. Fraggus goes in a bit early. Team doesn't have much to follow as Vanguard's Edge comes in from Tuesday. Fraggus falling down real fast. Keith's going to keep himself up for a little bit. Is that enough time for the team to answer back? And CLG is just stomping all over Golden Guardians this fight as they come in huge. Fraggus throwing himself into the fire so the team could assess who to attack right after.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. CLG finally coming alive. They find the fight, and it looked weird at first. Keith was doing a great job. It was unbreakable in the 9, but now they're going for Gorka. Just easy stun. Going to be cleaning it up. Phil picks it up with the W on his way out, but this is what CLG needs to do. They pick up the Ocean Drake, so they deny the soul. They pick up a couple of kills. They have a gold lead again, and all this standing gold that was sitting on the map, they're going to be adding into their pockets. So now CLG, they finally figured out, hey, if we bullet time the entire team, it's going to be really good. Win stands in the right spot, got the double crit item, and now we can start looking to transition that power to the other side of the map, because Baron is going to be the big fight target for quite a while.
I think
they still have to be careful.
Yeah.
There's Ocean Soul on the table, so they can't just trade, but it's still something that you can start to play with.
I think Deus is happy he did a second to do another round of math because he got to teleport in with the Rabadons that time, which was absolutely huge. So for them to be able to work that and be like, just a few more, I got to get Wolves, I got to get this, really, really big play. And I don't think GG was expecting that damage.
Really, really weren't. We'll see if he can do it again. We've talked about him. We've hyped him up a little bit, but both Tuesday and Deus starting to come alive. Their champions are going to get stronger and stronger. And of course, Vladimir, everybody looks at him as this big late game monster to try and blow up the backline. And Deus can do that once more. That might be all they need, but Golden Guardians going to be the first ones to the punch. They're the ones getting the vision control around the Baron, because they are still in a spot where they are happy to fight as long as it's on their terms, and it starts by knowing where your opponents are.
Hopefully they know and they have checked the inventories. You're seeing Tuesday now come out with that Infinity Edge. Pretty big for him now. He's definitely going to be able to deliver a bit more damage than Gorica, but Gorica's had that protection, and the front part of his team is just able to absorb so much for him. We're seeing them now on the Baron. CLG wants to pressure this. They know Zion's bottom. No real ward to teleport to that they can see just yet. Oh, no, they can actually see that one in the back. They have the pink that they are standing.
Here we go. Zion behind them. Oh, look at this potential ultimate.
Great job. They got Baron. Deus was able to solidify that one. We're going to see a bunch of damage going into Phil, but he's able to initiate the fight. Vanguard's edge across the entire team, setting the charges for Tuesday to hop around. And Golden Guardians again start to bleed out in the middle of the fight as CLG takes control of this game.
This is absolutely huge. CLG finally waking up once again. Wind didn't even need to get most of his bullet time off. He just needed to survive the backline pressure presented by Hard and Zion Spartan. And he did. He used a stopwatch. He keeps himself alive, and now the rest of his team able to clean up the backline. Blaze Olive, I mean, he's trying to get away from Phil, but Wind is running on over. Don't think he's long for this world. And multiple turrets, again, going over to CLG as wow. Leona just doesn't take damage.
He's getting the heals on, too. It's so great. Wind able to pick that one up. And they got 38 seconds now into Blaze Olive as they start taking things down. Oh my, where I feel like I can hear CLG's comms and they're just saying, we're scaling!
We're doing it!
We're doing
404. 404 on Wind now.
Oh,
I have to imagine he's going to get some attack speed fairly soon, so he will be able to play like a regular AD carry instead of just bullet timing across the field. But I'm excited. CLG has been showing that they are able to pick up games at this point. I think it is just the pressure. There's no pressure on them at all. They don't need to win these games, so they're allowed to have fun. They're able to choose a couple riskier fights, and now they have a big lead. 7,000 gold in the lead, and we've seen this previously. I believe it was against Immortals, where they were down 3 dragons and ended up picking up 4 straight in order to pick up the soul. So if this game goes that long, CLG has the power in order to pick up an Ocean Soul of their own. And now they're first to the punch.
Oh, the most, I guess not the most, oh yeah, the most Ocean Drakes you could get. We might see it.
Yeah.
Not too many times. More Ocean Drakes. We'll see if it happens. Golden Guardians now sticking together. And we're going to see Zion Spartan now try to answer that defensive line of following Deus round. They have a pretty good team for clearing Baroned up minions. Sometimes you'll see just all AP, and you're like, yeah, well, if that opposing team gets Baroned, it's pretty much over. You're going to have to fight them. But they do have a bit to slow down and clear out these minions, which is good. Looks like CLG is still going to be able to start knocking on the outer turrets of the base, though, and that is going to be all... No, 2 outers down as top still stands here, but they're making quick work of the map with this Baron.
Yeah, 20 seconds left on the next dragon, so I imagine CLG wants to go pick that up while they still have this big power spike. Who are they saving the Scuttle Crab for? It's going over to Deus. He must be close to some kind of item completion, because that was the most intentional and possibly the most coordinated I've ever seen a team over a Scuttle Crab. But Hard on the other side of the map, CLG in no risk, and in fact, they don't even need to send that many people. They're sending just Phil and Frog as the 2 tanks to slowly beat this thing to death.
I feel like he's trying to lock down that Oblivion Orb a little more pen. Maybe just a little bit more off of the ability tome. Got it. He will be with the team, though. They are heading towards the mid lane. 2 of those Ocean Drakes now in their favor. I don't think Golden Guardians really gets to leave the base unless they engage GA on Tuesday. Gonna be one every day of the week. Oh, big showstopper to start this one off. They get right back to Wind and take him out immediately. Zion Spartan's job is done, and he has exit stage left. They're going to be able to shut down Deus now, and Golden Guardians pulled the trigger faster than CLG expected. Now they're on to Tuesday, and the Guardian Angel's not going to matter because it's done right away. Tarnished and no longer shiny.
Oh, what a tragedy. We were praising CLG for having this big opportunity to come back into the game. They are still in the lead, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. They still have plenty of opportunities, but Golden Guardians committed a lot in order to get to Wind, and with no flash available on the Misfortune and fighting in the open, nowhere for them to run to. And Frogus, under attack underneath, probably going to
The tanking from Hard obviously baited him into that one. He did not expect a Blaze Olive to be coming around the corner. Gives himself up. Now they don't have the jungler, and it's going to be a lot of turrets being taken down in mid here. The thing about the game as it goes on is we saw CLG winning some fights but struggling to move the minions. Here it's so late, Joshi, that you can move the turrets before you have to move the minions, and we just saw Golden Guardians do that in mid lane.
Yeah, Wind running after them, but there you go. The speed coming from a Blaze Olive is just going to allow Golden Guardians to run away from CLG. And we, just as you kind of touched on earlier, we saw so much pressure coming out that one win from CLG picked them up maybe three turrets immediately off of taking it. And Golden Guardians do the same thing, just barrel right down mid lane, take the outer, inner, and the inhibitor turret before picking up the inhibitor. So they do have a little bit of extra pressure on their side, but with a full minute before the Baron spawns is the next major objective. We'll see how much they can actually play with that. We have the Art Sensor completed onto a Blaze Olive, so a lot of pressure is going to be on Gorka now that he has that extra auto attack pressure, and he just goes and just straight buys a Wit's End. He's thinking about it. Oh, he's going for the Hex Drinker instead, trying to keep himself alive from Deus because he knows he can do the damage. Yeah,
you don't know when Vladimir is going to flash out of the brush and just blow you up with a few abilities. I think he's almost he's taking notes from Wind there. He's like, you know what? Wind was so far back, and he still went down. That's my position, too. I'm going to buy some safety. So Gorka's seeing the pressure, feeling the pressure, and we're getting to that point where you have to be alive in this last fight. The bases are so open, they're going to be broken to the Nexus turrets almost immediately. And that minion wave is going to be there before you are able to spawn. 3K gold lead here for Chronologic Gaming. That fight from Golden Guardians, however, gives them a lot of confidence to do it again. Zion Spartan was able to get a showstopper right at the start of the fight. Usually you don't see that initiate too much unless the team can super follow.
Here we go.
Big damage coming in. Are they able to take down Gorka? Wind is going to have to face the Olaf immediately. You left your back line alone. Golden Guardians is now going to be able to pick and choose who they want to fight, but is it Tuesday that's able to come up big and Blaze Olive just on the outside trying to fire in the shields, the heals, the resolves to lock down Chronologic Gaming. And it is going to be enough as Hard comes back to the fight and he starts swinging those axes just like that. Real Hard, the quadra kill with the reckless swing coming in to finish that one from the heavens.
And seeing too much. They're looking to find it, but they left Wind, just as you said, to deal with an Olaf, and that's not something Misfortune will ever win. Zion, Spartan, and Hard. Again, we touched on this earlier. It's so hard to kill these guys in extended fights. You have to blow them up early, and Frogis doesn't have the damage to do this. Hard and Zion Spartan, with the Ardent Sensor coming up from Blaze Olive, are going to close this game and get one step closer to making it to playoffs. There they go. Frogis
he always wants it. He's going to go for that fight all the time, especially at the end. And Chronologic Gaming, again, going all hard out on the Rift, but Golden Guardians still able to find those wins, or the fight wins, especially when their backs are against the wall. It turned out maybe they always had that window, and they were just waiting for Golden Guardians to bring Vlad in, bring everyone in, and get the 5v5 so somebody was not split push.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to get to the back line quite a bit, right? We were looking at Gorka as this big damage carry, but they kind of forgot that they still need to deal with this front line. I mean, Conqueror, Olaf, the fleet footwork on the set, right? These guys take forever to kill, and like Irelia is just a little bit too squishy to actually do that all on their own. So as the game goes long, unfortunately, Golden Guardians are going to be knocking CLG down a peg, and hopefully they're going to be watching TL with their fingers crossed to see if they can still have a shot at actually making the postseason. Yeah,
there's a lot more friends or enemies this week as you watch somebody play for you in the standings or fight against you. So right now we're going to be stepping away to set up game 2. That's Immortals versus Dignitas Academy. Please don't go anywhere.